on WendyInTech, and today we have Emmanuel Ellerbee in the building. I met Emmanuel doing his seminar for BeesBelievers nonprofit, and I'm so happy I finally got in his schedule to get him on my seat today. So I'm gonna give it to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, please let them know who you are. Give us a little bit of information about your background.
Yeah, my name is Emmanuel Ellerbee, from Houston, Texas originally. The SWAT, Southwest Alief, Texas, where I'm from. Raised in Houston my whole life. Went to
Okay.
high school out here. Everything ended up going to college. Played ball at Rice. Also at the same time majored in engineering. Did both of those in four. Got the opportunity to go play in the league. Went undrafted. Played in the league for 5 years. And then after that, I took the engineering degree I used, and now kind of went back to using that, and you know, I earned it or whatnot and worked hard for it, so might as well put it to use. And now work as a consultant, doing sustainability consulting, really trying to be able to work at making sports and sustainability happen. But then also, while I was in the league, I started my nonprofit, obviously BeesBelievers, which is really just trying to show kids different avenues and different careers post playing sports where they can be able to go to.
Right. So you do something that's unique, right? I remember. So growing up, I'm from Beaumont. We were literally told to do a couple of things. Either you go to school for nursing,
Mm-hmm.
you work at the refinery, or you work at the prison.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing you as an athlete and you went to school for engineering, how was your experience with that? A lot of athletes typically do like the basics, like kinesiology,
Yeah.
those type of majors. What made you go the route of engineering?
Yeah, I really I think that kind of like you talked about that, like kind of putting people in a box, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
only have limited careers you could be able to be in. And I've never always for better or worse, I always been kind of like, I'm not finna trying to kind of go through that. I never wanted to be kind of segmented into being in a box. And so I knew I liked math and sciences, but also at the same time, like, as much as I love football and I wanted to make it to the league, I knew there was like a real possibility like I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I don't want to just be one of those people that was like, oh, I should have did this or I would have did this, yada yada, and not be able to make something, for myself or be able to consider successful of what it might be. And I was like, man, I need to figure out something to make a lot of money. Like I keep it 100, always just saying like, just keeping it real. Like I was just always like, I need to find a career job that allows me to make a lot of money because I knew I wanted to buy like
Mm-hmm.
expensive things, and that's as a kid is motivation. You know what I'm saying? On like kind of a very simple term, but yeah, I like math and sciences, so I kind of try to figure out what would be the best career there, and engineering kind of just started to people be like, oh, be an engineer, like you like math and sciences, be an engineer. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm just gonna stick to the path, and they said they make a lot of money too, so I was like, one of these things, if I don't go play ball, I'm making a lot of money doing this. So I was like, I kind of have a, no matter how I fail, like I would still be falling upward and not really
Mm-hmm.
falling, downward type deal.
I mean, honestly, so your motivation was money. I respect the honesty,
Yeah, like as a
Me is the
kid, definitely.
passion, but I like the drive for the money. I mean, that's what make the world go round. Sadly, so that's what's happening. So let me get your business. So what role is, well, not role, but like what position you play whenever you were in the NFL?
Linebacker. Yeah, I was a
Linebacker. What
linebacker.
teams were you playing for?
The Falcons, Chargers, Seahawks, Texans, and then Falcons as well. And then I played in the UFL or XFL at the time I was there. Played for the Houston Roughnecks as well.
So how was your experience with like NFL and XFL, like meeting all these different people?
It was cool. It was definitely a journey. It's definitely different. Like I'd say, like I think the UFL, XFL, and is like the JUCO version of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. If people would have been through the JUCO route or whatnot, I hadn't went through it, but I had friends that had went through it, homeboys that
Mm-hmm.
went through it or whatnot. And from the stories they told me, I was like, well, this has got to be the same thing. The NFL was really dope. Being an undrafted rookie, it was really um, it was a challenge, but I also am appreciative for the challenge. Like I wouldn't
Right.
trade my journey for anything, just from the simple fact of like it let me learn so much about how to just every single day. Like I learned so much life skills that like I knew I had built up in sports, but I really got to put it to test because I was doing it at the highest level of like your resiliency, your determination, the belief in yourself. Okay, what are you gonna do when you're in the outside looking in, not the inside looking out, right? Like
Right.
how do you show value, earn a spot, earn a position, compete, and all that stuff, and try to do all the little things that's there. And I learned so much from that process or whatnot that I feel like built up the grit or resiliency in myself to who I can be today. And so now transitioning out to the quote unquote real world, right? Like the life outside of sports world, it's really just let me know like I know how to just go get it and certain things and stuff of the sort. So I would say, um, yeah, that's kind of the experiences of the NFL versus the UFL. And I felt like when I went to the XFL UFL joint, to go play in that league. It just I had so much resiliency built up for me to be able to accept that and go do it and use it as an opportunity and see everything in life as opportunities and stuff of the sort. So yeah, it was cool though. I really met so many different people I keep in contact with today that I talked to some of them today, which was so cool. I think that's a part of football and sports in general that people miss out like that. Like, don't get me wrong, it was like that's what everybody says that they miss, because it's like you really do get to meet so many just different walks of life of people. Yeah. So
I'm not really a big fan of football though.
For real, why is that?
I like basketball.
So it has to be either or, it can't be both?
I don't know, just like I just like to watch basketball games instead.
So then you means you don't like watching football, because football season and basketball season aren't the same time.
It's not the same time, but I don't have a favorite football team either. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Who's your favorite basketball team?
My favorite player is Anthony Edwards.
I didn't say who's your favorite basketball team.
I can't pick a team. I'm a player. I like the players.
That's the difference between the NFL and the NBA. Fans really only follow. There's such a difference. So like in the NFL, people follow teams, and the NBA,
you follow
players. Yeah,
so,
which is so
like
interesting.
LeBron James is my favorite. They're gonna follow LeBron
wherever he go. Yeah.
LA doesn't matter. Wherever he goes, they're gonna be there.
That's such an interesting dynamic. You talk about like the differences of like leagues and what they have going on or whatnot. Not to go down this tangent, but because we wear helmets and everything is thought of as like the team and camaraderie, like it's so much easier for people just to follow a player opposed to like rooting for that team. I mean, rooting for a team versus a player. Versus the NBA, there's so much more like I think individualism in the sense of like you follow a player. Like if Ant got like Luka, for instance, people was Mavs fans and don't even care about the Mavs. Now they like super Lakers. They like Luka fans, so they like, oh man, well, he went to the Lakers. I'm a Lakers fan from now on. Like. I'm only gonna wait until they play the Lakers to go, watch his games or whatnot, or when the Lakers play Dallas. So it's real interesting.
My family are really hardcore Cowboy fans, though.
Really?
They love Dallas Cowboys.
That's so crazy, bro. I say just the fact.
No comment.
Yeah. God no, man. I have a cousin that's like that, uncle like that, and it just be like my dad's from New York, so he's Giants, so he hates the Cowboys. Like they same division rivals, all that stuff. Pops don't even like them, but. The fact that they like the Cowboys, and having people, obviously, because the Cowboys was the team, America's team, or whatnot.
They are America's team, I guess, still.
It's just so crazy because them boys have never won.
They would go so hard about the Cowboys, but
be like, this is their year, fool.
No, this their year. I think it might be their year. That's what they were saying.
Every year. Jesus gonna come back
before they win. That's crazy. But what is so unique about your story is so many kids can really. Follow your path and resonate with what you have going on. And this gets into me talking about his nonprofit, BeesBelievers, right? And just tell us a bit about your mission for BeesBelievers and, like, the drive for creating this nonprofit.
Yeah, so BeesBelievers is a play on my last name, but it's really an acronym for Be Exceptional in Everything. So the idea of, like, I think we talked about it earlier, right? Like everybody kind of tells you have like an option, either gonna go, you said nursing, go work for the prison, or go into refinery, right? Yeah. So oil and gas or whatnot. But not even like necessarily like a leadership position. You're just gonna be a kind of like withstand worker. And I felt the same way pressures when I was growing up. Like it was just kind of like ways of success that I kept seeing from all my friends and then people who was around me was also like, thank God for my parents and them always having like an idea like we're gonna put you on this path, but. A lot of my other influences that were around me was just like kind of rapper go to the league. Like there was like, that's the way for you to have success. And that was kind of what was portrayed to us or whatnot. But I remember I went to a private school here in Houston called Straight Jesuit. And it was an all boys private school, Catholic school. It was my first time going to it. It was a complete culture shock for me. But then I'm sitting up there and I'm always wondering like, okay, all these people have those most expensive, exotic things that you can think of, right? Like they have all those different things. And in the fact that they have that, they never played a down of football. Like, they never had this, but they have all the luxuries that you would want to have. And so it started making me think, like, okay, how do they have success, right? Like, their kids, like, those things that you really talk about, which means, like, you feel comfortable, right? I think, like, a lot of times is, like, you want to go to those high levels, obviously, for the fame and the ability to have your name, but also the same time, the fortune, right? Like, this can provide an opportunity for my family members and for people that I know and love to be able to not have to worry about certain things that you grew up worrying about. So when I started BeesBelievers, it really happened as like, I didn't necessarily knew I was going to start BeesBelievers. It was just more like, how can I help students? And I felt like sports gave me an opportunity, gave me a platform, right? Like everybody listened to the jock. Like no matter what it is in life, like in high school, whatnot, you can just be you might be the most socially awkward person, but if you can play ball in some sort of sense, or you have a talent like that, can
You gravitate towards you.
gravitate towards you and be unspoken for you in that same sense. And so I was like, okay, if there's all these other opportunities for success, but one thing that we do well as a culture and just as a people is I feel like when it comes to arts, when it comes to athletics, we smart as what's saying, but we take that amongst any other culture. I think the African diaspora is like we take it to a higher level, right? Black and brown people, I feel like we take it to a wholly different level, right? And it's like, why is it that if we have so much of this influence in culture, opposed to saying it's got to be either or? That's why it's actually like it ain't got to be the NFL or the NBA. I'm a real big person of like okay, why can't we do both? And so it was like, well, why can't they be the superstar athlete? But then once they're done playing, why can't they become the CEO or the business person as well too?
Right.
And how do you open up those doors and those avenues? And so for me, it was kind of like you talked about the box. I was like, well, I need to do, when I was going through Rice and doing everything, I was like, okay, well, I want to do both. I want to be an engineer and I also want to, go play ball. I want to go to the league. I was like, but why does it have to choose one or the other? And so I saw how the challenges I had went through to be able to do that. And I was like, well, I also found out that it was like a cheat code. Like, because I had this football thing behind me, people just listened to me. So if I was like, hey, I'm trying to learn that, it was like, hold on, what you doing over here? You're not supposed to be here. And sometimes it'd be met with conflict of people being like, nah, you need to get out of here. This is only for us. This is exclusive. You're not smart enough. But then also people be like, wow, you're held in this other arena, but you coming over here and trying to learn from us.
Yeah.
And you trying to be able to become amongst us. So it brings community in that sense. And so, again, really, and what I'm also trying to get to for BeesBelievers was that the mission of it is to bridge the gap between student and athlete through STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, because I believe that those disciplines show up in sports, and we don't even realize that. Not only do we not only realize that, the opportunity that you get to just use that platform you have, it can open up so many different avenues for you. And I was like, I feel like this is just a resource we're not tapping into as a community and stuff of the sort as well too. Like, as soon as you there and you have this platform and everybody's hailing and screaming your name and they like, yo, Wendy, go shoot the ball, or your girl, drive to the hole, whatnot. How do you use and galvanize that to help you in the future, and that it just don't stop when the game ends, right? Like, they like, okay, you had to work hard to get this opportunity to play ball at this high level. You playing it, why not take that opportunity and use it to segue into other ventures? Because Father Time is undefeated. Time keeps going on. You not always, and age is real. Like, you can't always run around and do the athletic things that you want to do, but the mind, that can take you a long place. So how do we enrich that or whatnot? So that's what made me start BeesBelievers, like trying to just expose young boys and girls to that opportunity that sports can give them. And we choose to do it in the STEAM field, but there's an art component as well too.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's creativity.
And a lot of people I think when people think of art, they think of like just, paintings or, that type of thing. But it goes into more detail, graphic design, UI, UX, people who create art with videography. Pictures say have 1,000 messages in them, So it's a lot to be taught in that space. And I feel like you're doing a great job with our youth too. So what age group do you typically start with for BeesBelievers?
So our programming right now really focuses on high school students. We started the organization 4 years ago with a cohort of freshmen, and then we've matured as they've gotten older. We've matured and added additional students to the program, and so now we really just do all high school. But we've actually graduated our first group of students right now, and now they're going to college. So now we're trying to. We don't want I believe in continuous impact. I don't like Disney World experiences. Like, when you go to a place or something like that and it's a Disney World experience, like, you only get it that one moment and then you have to hold on to that memory until it happens again, right? But it's like, I think community organization should be really about, like, how do we continue to show up and be consistent, right? Because that's when you really start building community. That's when you start building real changes, when you do stuff consistently, right? Like, think about sports, right? You don't become a good player until you ball out day in and day out, where it's like, nah, like Ant, the thing that be able to make him the guy is like, all right, he need to show up every single time. But if you don't show up every single time, it's like, all right, you're good, but it's not going to be the same. Or, looking at that. So how do you have continuous impact? So they're going to college now. We're trying to expand into that realm.
Makes you a little emotional?
100%, which is really crazy because, you start off doing something, you're like, oh, it's cool, we just helping out kids and whatnot. But then you see them mature and they're going through their phases, their different phases or whatnot. they used to come to a lot of my games and
Mhm.
stuff of the sort as well too. So when I was playing, I'd always give them tickets and give our foundation, tickets, and I'd be like, hey, we, want y'all to come out to the game. So they used to be there, and I remember they were like freshmen, voices squeaking and cracking, and hey, Miss Ellerbee, like what's up? And now they, Miss Ellerbee, what's up? How you doing, bro? I got more sauce than you, yada yada yada. Like they be trying to play the dozens, and it'd be just so funny because like I remember you was like, hey, what's up, man? And now you got a deep voice, so
It's
yeah.
crazy how they grow up and how much we can impact kids in our community. Like, you know.
True, true. I think it just really just lets you know, just like we all. I think because me, it's like I remember being the age, like
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying. It wasn't too long ago. It felt like, but it's at the same time like they going through this and time be flying.
No,
Like
time literally has been flying. So in your program, do you have more of like young African Americans in your program? Would you say, or is it like a really good mixture between all the races?
I would say like we started off, really I was really trying to do my community. So like, I'm really big about where's the need, right? And so we would go to STEAM deserts, right? So STEAM deserts are places where science, technology, engineering, arts, and math are not necessarily promoted enough. And so me being from Houston or whatnot, I know that wasn't happening, places I come from, my hood, and also additionally as well other places around the city. And so we really did impact there. But then as we grew, the message got out, and so we started spreading it out towards more. We've gotten diverse or whatnot. We still hold to the truth of like we want to do the need for the
Mhm.
people who are needing it the most or whatnot. So we stay true to that. I think black and brown kids are the ones who are not doing. So we have a lot of African American students. We also have a good portion of Latino American students. We have a good portion of we're expanding out to having white students and Asian students as well too, which is also great because I believe in diversity or whatnot as
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
Allowing them to meet different people walks of life because they learning from each other, and it's so funny. Like we had our we had one student in our program. He's a white student, and it was so funny watching him as he every week he came back. He just acclimated into more. They accepted him into more. He started learning how to move and how to like kind of operate or whatnot because he was learning about that, and then they was learning about him too. And then they come in, and as soon as the seminar happened, we trying to get them to do like an icebreaker for them to start to intermingle. They already kind of made their little group and they got their own little clique. So yeah, we really try to stay true to just promoting it for our young black and brown kids and making sure that because they are in the need.
Mhm.
We want to stay true to the need. Like I believe in doing stuff for the community where there's a need and doing that in that aspect. But at the same time, we also growing, and so this opportunity we don't want to limit, but how do we make change if we not affecting change to everybody? We trying to change our mentality and our mindset, inclusiveness, all those buzzwords that non we don't like to say DEI now, but inclusivity, right? Community, all those different things really do matter.
Equity and
Equity, you know what I'm
diversity.
saying? Like
I know they're trying to change the
yeah,
verbiage, but it's still all the same. And the message is still the
they're
same.
all synonyms of
I
each
feel like
other.
right now we're in a space where we have to be really positive with our youth because we don't know which way we can take it. Right, there's so much happening with technology. I know I'm just speaking like for my industry and the big modifications and enhancements we have coming in. They're gonna be doing the stuff for us. I'm gonna be an old lady one day, and these kids gonna be the ones that's taking care of us and
100%.
pushing forward, whether it's AI or just engineering, mechanical, financial analysts. It doesn't matter. Like we have to make sure that we're giving a positive message, continuing on and on for our students and youth coming up. So, do you feel like yourself? Do you feel like you've done that so far?
Yeah, I think to the point which you just talked about of like we gonna become older one day, right? Like, I think
Sad.
yeah, 100%. But it's like it's a part of life, bro. It's like the reality of it, right? Like
Mhm.
we just talked about how we remember being high school students and I'm talking to them and it's like seeing them grow up and
It's
now we
crazy.
young adults, right? Like we about to enter. I'm about to hit my 30s type deal, and it's like
30?
yeah.
You old.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I haven't hit that. Relax. Like it's sometimes away, but it's coming up. Um, and with that being said, like I'm like, I remember my parents were this age, right? And I
Mhm.
remember looking at them, and now they're older, right? So it's like it's going to happen. But I think, like you said, to impact the youth and to answer your question is like I would say, I think a lot of people are always upset. They're like the youth of this, the youth of that, or whatnot. They just trying to figure it out, just like we was trying to figure it out
Mhm.
at one point, and we still trying to figure it out. So it's like, how do you bring everybody closer together? Not make it, oh, we got to teach them yada yada this, but it's like, how do you give them the right tools, the right necessary stuff within that? Because show them the positive influences. Because all they're gonna do is be like, well, then how did such and such do it beforehand? All right, either I liked the way they did it, or I didn't like
Right.
the way they do it. So it's like I feel like as adults, and the thing that I've learned, and the thing I also look for from my mentors that I look to is like, who are the people who are just trying to do it right, and if they do it wrong, they are honest, accountable, and saying like, "Hey, this is what I learned." But they are always searching for knowledge and trying to be able to figure out. Like, I don't like people that try to act like they know it all or whatnot in a sense of short, um, and not necessarily in a sense of like you're not confident in what you know, right? Like, there's a difference between arrogance and confidence,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, not people who are too busy being, I would say, arrogant in the sense, but more people that are confident in saying like, "Hey, this is what I've learned. This is the experiences that I had that have
Mm-hmm.
taught me this, and why I feel assured and why I make that decision or whatnot." And I think for the youth, you have to do the same thing, right? Like, don't make it so much of a, yeah, y'all gonna one day be like me, and there's a dichotomy of like, I'm up here and you down here. You always gonna be down here, or whatnot. It's like, nah, we just learning. Like, I think that's the cool part about the foundation. That's really I've learned is just how like they've impacted me a lot. Just like
Mm-hmm.
the seeing through their lenses. Um, they'll have like, a lot of our students are student athletes, but then a lot of our students aren't necessarily student
Yeah.
athletes. Going to their different events and seeing life from the perspective of their lenses, like, oh, I remember my Friday night, like I was at a football game and it was go do the game afterwards, hang out with Shorty, and go to whatever the after game spot was to eat at until it's time for curfew. You got to go home. Like, that was what my whole entire like high school career is. But they're like in a theater program, so they're doing that, or they'll do something on a Saturday, and I'm like, wow, like I'm trying to think back what I was doing in high school. I was like, bro, this was not on my radar or
Yeah, no,
whatnot.
they're super active too in a sense. Like it's a lot of stuff going on.
Exactly. So, learning that sense and seeing that it's impacted me, and just learning that, or just continuously learning or whatnot. Like, they know a lot of stuff too. Like you said, AI is real, but always just, trying to just show them like these are the processes of how to come
Mm-hmm.
to a conclusion. Not necessarily telling them like do it like this because this is exactly how I did it, and this how it was. Like, this is what I did. This is what I learned from it. You take the lessons, the tidbits from that, what you do, because you got to make your own decisions at
Yeah,
the end
you
of the
do.
day. So yeah.
You have a pretty impressive resume, by the way. So, I mean, Rice University,
Uh,
NFL,
yeah.
Bees Believers nonprofit, booming. And then what do you do on a day to day basis when you're not doing Bees Believers?
I work as a sustainability engineer, so like kind of an environmental engineer, civil engineer, whatever. Kind of like all those things there, and doing engineering consulting. So really working in the ESG space,
Mm-hmm.
environmentalism, and a lot of project management stuff as well too. But yeah, I really work as a sustainability engineer, doing stuff for that.
How long have you been doing that?
2 years,
Oh, okay, that's
or
cool.
so, like 18 months. Like, I've always kind of kept abreast. I did internships for it when I was playing, so every off season I would do what's the same. But I would say like doing it in a kind of designated role of like this or whatnot, where I put it on my resume type deal. Yeah, I'd say 2 years.
Is that remote?
Hybrid. So it's remote slash hybrid. Like, it really is remote because we have people who work for our firm who are completely remote.
Right.
But I actually like, I think going into the office is like there's something to be learned from that. I think like as much as I like remote, don't get me wrong, I like the ability for you to be on a Zoom and be in the middle of like wherever and just being able to do that, and it
Mm-hmm.
allows you to have more flexibility. I think with your life and stuff of the sort as well, whereas opposed to you always having to be in the office every single time there's there. But I think there's a lot of value that come with being in the office. Like, there's just that community, that teammate camaraderie or whatnot, versus you being in a Zoom. Like, y'all are all people that work with each other every single day,
Yeah.
and y'all are doing projects. So it's like, I think that's something that sometimes gets missed or whatnot from being in the office. So I'm technically hybrid, remote. Saying if I need to go do something, I just tell them, hey, I got to go here for a certain amount of time. They'll be like, all right, cool, because it's a lot of consulting, client management, and stuff of the sort. But I like being around my team and just being able to like, all right, I'm thinking about this. We're creating a proposal about something, or we're doing a one pager, or we're trying to get to a new client. Um, just walking over into the office and being like, "Hey, yo, you got a quick second? What do you think about this? Yeah, yeah." And we just start spitballing, and it just be boom,
Mm-hmm.
boom, boom. All right, cool, got it, go. Um, I like that ability or whatnot,
I
or
like the
just
flexibility. You
yeah,
know, that's really good to offer. I feel like you have like a very diverse background, like super diverse. It really did, I'm really applauding you too. You're doing a lot of stuff, especially as a young black man in America. Like you're killing a lot of barriers. And I really hope that whoever watches this episode, they resonate. They reach out to you for advice. They go ahead and support these believers.
yeah, for
Get on your
sure.
seminar. But before we close, I have one question for you.
What's up with it?
What word of advice would you give to a young, African American student out there or of a different ethnic background on how to prepare for success?
That's a great question. Because I feel like you can go so many different ways. Like, there's no one single ingredient to
There's no
success.
correct answer.
Yeah, I know. And it's like there's no one single ingredient to success. I would say hard work is number one, right? And consistency. Like, hard work and consistency, I think those two things go hand in hand, right? Like, I think about it in sports all the time. Like, anybody can be a baller one time. Like, anybody can show up and kill a workout one day. But then, if like, I think about off-season workouts when we were in college and just growing up and training and everything that started even in the league was like somebody could go kill it on a Monday. Like today is Monday. Somebody could go kill it on a Monday. But it's like, dang, they be horrible Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They don't even show up on Friday. And you be like, bro, you was good for 1 out of 5. Like, that's horrible. You were 20% effective. So being consistent and showing up every single day, obviously with hard work, intentionality, like, hey, I'm here for a reason, and being where your feet is at. I think those are two things for definitely success. And then, obviously just having a belief and a belief in just timing and things of the sort as well. So I would say, like, if I told a young person who was like looking for like what could they take as a tidbit for success, I would just tell them, those two things of just really the hard work and consistency, accountability in what you're doing or whatnot. And then the last one for sure would just be patience and that divine faith of like, it's going to happen on the time it's supposed to happen. Right? Like,
No, that's a known 100% fact. That might just be the right answer.
yeah. Like, it's as much as you want it to happen when you want it to happen, it's going to happen when it needs to happen. And if the exact thing it is that you's not happening right now, look around you, because there's some tools of like hidden gems that like you play video games. You ever been like playing a video game and it's like, bro, I know I need to go through that door.
Yeah.
Like, but you don't have the right key yet. And it's somewhere hidden in the little room you're in. And you're like, bro, I did everything. I went back. You go back through the checklist of the objectives in the game. You go back and be like, I needed to go get this little key that was hanging up on like the second stairwell that I missed when I was running through the thing. So if you can like recognize that and apply it to life, whenever that opportunity is that you want to have that's not necessarily happening at that time, that's the divine timing. That's a part of like, being intentional where you at, but really searching for what the meaning is when you're in those pause moments. Because there's so many things that I've picked up throughout life that I happen from me being in those moments of like, people call it patience, waiting seasons, whatever term or coined adjective that they use for it. Trusting in that and being patient, knowing that when it comes to it, it's all gonna make sense. And so yeah.
Definitely. I feel like we all get to that season at some point.
Oh, 100%. And if you ain't in it,
you ain't in something's wrong.
yeah, something wrong. Because if you ain't in it, it means you ain't striving hard enough to have some goals that you're trying to go get. Because yeah, it happens. Like, if you really going to go get it, it's gonna happen. Like, you're gonna be like, dang, bro, like I can see it right there. Like, why can't I go get it? And it's like, bro, it's not time.
It's not your time yet.
That's your time.
So I hope you guys got a good lesson today. Enjoyed our conversation with Emmanuel and that word of advice he just closed us out with. So I appreciate you all for listening to this episode and subscribing to WendyInTech and supporting me. Thank you, Emmanuel, for being here.
Cool. Appreciate you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to WendyInTech. See you next time.